Welcome everyone, and thank you so much for registering for this webinar, and even more importantly for availing your time to come to the webinar. It's evident that you're actually interested in gaining scholarships abroad, and specifically the Chinese scholarship. Now, today I'll be taking you through the application process for the CSC Scholarship via university. CSC, for those of us who don't know what it stands for, is Chinese Scholarship Council. It's a nonprofit body by the Chinese government, via which people can be able to access scholarships, both international students interested in studying in China and domestic students who would like to study abroad. As Daisy mentioned, at the moment, I am under the Chinese scholarship, and I am in Australia, where I'm doing my visiting scholar, but I should be finishing my PhD soon. Now, back to our presentation. First things first, if you want to study abroad and you're in Kenya, or you elsewhere in the world and you'd like to study anywhere else abroad out of your country, you need a passport. That is your only way to identify yourself when you're abroad. Therefore, before you even dive into application of the scholarship, you need to have your passport so you can launch your application. Now, how do you do this application yourself? You go to a website that is studyinchina.csc.edu.cn. It's on the screen, on the slide that I'm sharing right now. Here, you need to create an account. Before you create this account, you need to have an email address. You create the account and you go to a page where you're able to launch your application. And this is where you're going to fill the application form. So the first document you will need is your application form. And this application form is going to be found in the website that is shown on the screen. Now, when you're filling this form, you'll be required to have some documents, and these documents are your transcript, your highest education diploma. So if you're doing an undergraduate, your highest degree, your highest academic qualification will be your high school. So you need your certificate for your high school graduation. In addition to this, you will need your transcript. Now, the certificate is not the original copy, it's a photocopy. So you have your certificate, you have it photocopied, and then you have it notarized by a lawyer. The same case with your transcript. So already we have mentioned 3 documents. The first document is your application form, which we are in the process of filling. And in the process of filling, you need to upload some documents. The second document is your certificate, and the third document is your transcript. The certificate and the transcript should be notarized by the lawyer. Fourth document is your study plan. This study plan, if you're doing undergraduate, we will discuss that in a few minutes. If you're doing a postgraduate, you need to have a study plan which shows essentially what you're going to do in your master's degree or in your PhD. This study plan can be derived from, or the content of the study plan can be derived from your report, the one that you wrote when you're doing your bachelor's degree. So you summarize that and you want to build on that when you're doing your master's or your PhD. However, if you want to change the direction of your research for your postgraduate, then you can write a study plan. And this study plan, the content of it will come from a literature review, which you need to study, and then you summarize what you'd like to pursue for your master's or your PhD. This is so important for the university when they'll be assigning you a supervisor. However, if you've gone a step forward and tried to find a supervisor for the university of your desire, then you want to have a study plan that is aligned with what your supervisor is, your future supervisor is already doing. Now, ENB Consult also offers services that will be able to guide you step by step on formulating your study plan, on finding the papers, the journal papers, or any studies or literature review that you need to do to make your study plan. So don't worry if you cannot be able to do this on your own. ENB consult is here, and it's going to guide you step by step. Now, the fifth document is recommendation letter. You need 2 recommendations letters, and these 2 recommendation letters need to state that the person who is recommending you is familiar with your academic qualifications. Therefore, this can be either a professor, a lecturer that taught you during your undergrad, or if you just finished your high school, it can be from a teacher from high school, or it can be from one of your mentors who knows your capability in regards to your education background or your future direction in regards to your education pursuit. Now, remember, first document is application form, which we are filling. During filling your application form, you need some documents. The second document, which we talked about, was a certificate from your highest education level. The third document is transcript from your highest education qualification. So you have transcript. Both the certificate and the transcript should be notarized by a lawyer. Then we talked about the study plan, and then we have 2 recommendation letters. Now, 6. If you want to study in China, you are able to study in 2 languages, English or Chinese. To prove your proficiency in Chinese, you need to have an HSK certificate. To prove your proficiency in English, you need either TOEFL or IELTS. To do your IELTS exam, you can go through the British Council. To do your TOEFL, you can find the suitable bodies for this. We also have like PTE, which is for Australian English body. Now, we are very lucky that we are a Commonwealth country, and we've been studying in English for primary, secondary school, and university. Therefore, you can write a letter and state that you have been studying in English and you're willing to do an examination on arrival. However, if you want to study abroad in any other country, for example, when I wanted to study in England, it was mandatory that I have IELTS. Therefore, if you want to study abroad, I would recommend that you make an investment in yourself and do a TOEFL exam or do IELTS or any other form of proficiency test, so that you can prove to the university that you're studying in that your English is up to standard. Now, 7. The Chinese Scholarship Council requires that we have physical examination report. I recommend when you're doing your physical examination that you go to a government-owned hospital, because this is easier to verify that your documentation is right, your examination report is right. What examination precisely you need to do is on the health report document that is available on ENB Consult, but it's also available on the CSC Scholarship body website. So you download this document and it's obviously blank, then you go to your doctor and have all the examination done accordingly. Now, our 8th document, which we mentioned before we started the application, is your passport. Passport. You need to have a passport that is valid and for a couple of years, because you want to study abroad. Therefore, it's about time, if you don't have your passport, to go and launch your application. Then another document that is required moving forward, there are several documents that are additional to this, but the main documents have been mentioned already. Now, these other documents include two main documents that are so important. However, one of them takes more time. Therefore, I would recommend that you work on it as soon as possible. One is a criminal record. The other one is a Kenyan ID card. So if you've lost your ID card and you've been using your passport like I have, you need to find your ID card. If you don't have the ID card, it means you don't have all the documents that are required for you to launch your application, and therefore you're kind of disqualified already. Therefore, work on your ID card and criminal record. Then the other thing is, we need to understand that these scholarships, they are very competitive. So if you have an additional qualification, an additional interesting capability that you can prove, then you stand a better chance. For example, if you're an artist and you have some paintings that are really good, and also if you're a musician and you have some recorded music, so you're into sports and you're applying for a sport-related degree, and you have some gymnastic skills that you can record and something like this, then this will be very good for you, for the people who are into art. Then on the other side, if you're applying for a postgraduate and you have already like say published some papers on a journal or a conference or a symposium, then that is also an additional document that you can add. The other thing that we hope that everybody already has, whether you just finished high school or you have another degree on top of this, is your CV. You need your resume to be up to date. And in case you had a gap where you were not, like a gap, you need to also explain why you had this gap. And this is good for you to already have your resume at hand, because you're also going to look for jobs in the future. So that is another additional document. Now, we've mentioned so many documents that needs to be uploaded when you're doing your application. Let's summarize it. So first, before we go to the checklist, I forgot one thing. You need to make payments. This payment goes to the university that is going to process your application. So for example, when I was applying for Beihang, I had to pay some money. I was abroad, therefore I paid in US dollars, $70 US. I paid it to the university, and then I had a receipt. So you need to have a photocopy of the receipt to show that you paid your application fee. This application fee, again, does not go to either the consulting firm that you're applying through or any education agent that you're applying through. No, this goes to CSC. Now, with all of these documents, you need to post them by post, and plus the application form. So as soon as you submit your application, you're able to print out your application form. And you can print out this application form plus all the other documents that you uploaded when you're doing your submission for the application. Now let's do the checklist. You have your ID photo that you also need to upload. You need your highest certificate of your highest education, notarized by the lawyer. You need your transcript, notarized by the lawyer. You have your study plan that if you are not able to do it by yourself, ENB Consult is here to take you step by step. You need your two references letter, so reference 1, reference 2, your passport, the homepage of your passport, the physical examination record for us, the foreigners, and this should be from, I recommend, a government hospital, but if it's a private hospital, it's also okay. Also, another highlight I may have not forgotten to mention is, even though you have examination, health examination done in Kenya or whichever country you're in, you will need to do another examination. But don't worry, if you are on CSC Scholarship, the CSC will fund your second examination in China. Then you have your criminal records. And after you have sent, you've posted it, the other thing you need is patience. So say you do it now. For example, I did my application in February and I got a response in May indicating that some of my documents did not meet the standards. So I had to redo my documents again. And then I was able to get my admission letter, I said July, thereabouts. Therefore, you need a lot of patience. So wait patiently. You may or may not get it. It all depends. But if you don't get it, that's okay. Just keep applying. You can apply for different universities. You can apply for the same university, but be persistent and you never know, you might get it. We'll be here every step of the way as long as you don't give up. So if with all of this, you can independently apply for the CSC scholarship via the university. You can do it on your own. However, if you feel that you need some guidance, you need someone to walk you step by step, ENB Consult is here. If you have any questions, you can send us some questions through our website. And thank you. That's it. Thank you so much for listening and for attending too.